Sweet. Nice. There might be a little delay. So we are live. Wanted to start this stream. I know we don't have a huge following, but we figured there'd be some people here in the chat that would find value of this and want to ask us a couple questions. Just to give you context about today, we've done some cold calling this morning and fulfilled some ads for clients, talked a little strategy, got more ads to roll out today, so we had a little window here that we would jump in and see if anybody had any questions. Right now nobody's in here, but we'll just kind of hang out and see who pops in. Let's see here. If you have any questions, just throw it in the chat. Yeah, I don't know if you want to talk about what we got going on today or...
Yeah, so we're currently doing what we call Cold Call Monday, which is where we basically sit in the common room at my apartment complex and do cold calling for about 8 hours. It's basically where we've generated a majority of our current opportunities is just by sitting here, banging the phones. We pull down call lists from a variety of different ways, but the idea is basically just to come with at least 50 to 100 people on your list to call and have as many conversations as you can, have a break for lunch, go outside once in a while, get some sun, and then at the end of the day, kind of depending on level of success, we go treat ourselves to a beer or two afterward. So it's supposed to be fun. Derek and I both come from a sales and marketing background, heavily embedded with account management and business development. So this is something that we used to do every single day as part of our jobs with metrics and quotas attached to it. Now it's a lot more fun because it's all for us and in our business. So we do it every week. I think we've missed like one or two since we started the business, but it's a really, really effective way to, generate a large pipeline fairly quickly. It's not going to happen overnight. Of the 50 to 100 people we call, we probably get 2 opportunities.
Yeah.
Maybe one of those closes, maybe it doesn't. But, if you're not out there, if you're not hungry, if you're not getting in front of these people, they're not going to come to you.
Yeah, and I mean, a part of us doing this channel is just to show the raw nature of what it's like building a business. There isn't any we're not posing, taking pictures like fake entrepreneurs. This is legitimately a business that we're running, and we realize that there's vulnerabilities in where we're at today. So clearly that's why we have a day like Cold Call Monday to generate new opportunities and get new customers, because if your business is sitting on 1 or 2 clients that are making up 45, 50, 75% of your overall business, that's a vulnerability, and we understand that, and that's why we're continuing to grind and continuing to push more, get more clients in our roster. So if we lose 1, 2, 3 clients, if it happens, it's no sweat. It's, we just keep on rolling. So,
and we also want to be able to be selective in the type of clients that we onboard down the line. Where we're at a critical mass, we have enough cash flow to be in a great spot and not be worried about losing 1 or 2 clients. Like Derek said, we want to be able to be selective versus opportunistic, where we are right now, kind of taking everybody you can. Obviously it's a young business. You never know until you try, right? We're learning about different markets, learning about different client types, level of effort to onboard different types of businesses. Everything's a learning experience right now. So just trying to take what we can, but still have fun doing it. And it's been an absolute polar shift from what I was doing before.
Yeah.
If you told me that I'd be doing a live stream on YouTube talking about owning a digital marketing agency 4 years ago, I would really wish that would have happened, but I don't think that.
Probably didn't think it was going to happen.
Yeah, I didn't think that was where my life was going by any means. So just really thankful, loving putting in the work. It's just been a learning experience from a time management perspective. Sometimes, when you're in sales, you get analysis paralysis on who you go call, who you whatever, and now there's so many, different moving parts with running this ship. It's like analysis paralysis on what I tackle first. Is it an operations thing? Is it a client management thing? Is it delivering services thing?
Yeah.
Like, is it dealing with accountants or trying to figure out tax law, shit like that neither of us really have much of a background in. So that took some doing. That was stressful, but that was kind of like the last hurdle, I guess, that we really had between scaling and being able to pay ourselves. Would have been a good idea to figure that out before we quit our jobs, but we got it handled. So
yeah. Yep. And if you guys are just popping on the channel now and haven't seen our whole backstory, we're about a month and a half into essentially running our business full time. We've been doing this for a while, just on the side, and trying to do these things after hours, before hours, and yeah, I mean, it's going good. I think just like the lifestyle, I don't know how you feel about it. I mean, I do know how you feel about it, but it would be good to reiterate to these people that are watching what it's like. I mean, just the lifestyle change in itself has just been huge, actually working for yourself versus somebody else. I think the level of stress, even though there's more responsibilities because we're not segmented into one little piece of the pie, it's just so much more rewarding and less stressful doing this.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, my Sundays have gone from dreading my one-on-one meetings with my old boss, going over current pipeline opportunities,
the Sunday scaries,
and just dreading going to bed. Derek and I both were, six-figure salespeople. That was always this idea that we wanted to get to, was this big salary, everything that comes along with it, right? And did that for about 3.5 years, and it was awesome, truly awesome. Got to do a lot of stuff, took a lot of trips, checked a lot of boxes in terms of things I wanted to do and things I wanted to buy, and got really, really burnt out with it. And, when this kind of came along as an option, Derek and I both knew that we wanted to do it full time. And it's not to say that we're never going to get back to where we were, but if we do, we're going to be a lot happier in terms of job satisfaction, stability, just kind of where things are at. But right now we're just having an absolute blast, making far less than we did before, but just having freedom, accountability to nobody but ourselves. And I think that it's been really great working with a partner like Derek, because we're accountable to each other. And I think that for somebody that goes from a desk job to working from home, or even somebody who still works for another company but works from home, I think that there's a level of accountability that it's good to have somebody that you're accountable to other than just yourself, because it's pretty easy to kind of let things slip and fall behind, and then apathy kicks in and you're at home. Yeah.
You should, after that call clicks off, you should go on Instagram too. Just go live on there.
Do it.
You could just set it right here, maybe. What's up, Instagram? We're live here too. So live on YouTube, live on Instagram. Just hanging out, talking shop, seeing if anybody pops in, has any questions. Yeah, it's our first time going live.
Yep.
Let's go.
Oh, we got Sporty Marketing popping on. Got some other people popping on. Hey guys, for those of you just joining us, we're doing a quick live video here on our YouTube channel and on Instagram. Derek and I are both small business owners. As you know, we do digital marketing for a number of clients based around the Twin Cities, Minnesota, and beyond, with a focus in the Midwest right now. We're just taking questions that anybody might have on, growing a sustainable following, servicing businesses, gaining clients, sales, marketing, pretty much anything. So if anybody has any questions at all, be awesome if you could pop them on here, and we'll do our best to answer them and tell you a little bit more about ourselves, kind of whatever makes sense. So anybody have any questions kind of off the bat? Feel free to drop them in the comments.
Yeah, and just to give some context, we just hopped on Instagram. We were explaining a little earlier on YouTube, just to give a backstory of what we do and where we are today. We're about almost 2 months, month and a half into running our businesses full time, quitting our 6-figure jobs, left the 9-to-5 grind to take on our side hustle and turned it into a full-time business. So we both have been just loving the lifestyle change, even though temporarily we've taken a dip. There's always that point where you want to move over from your full-time job to your side hustle when everything's perfect and you're making the exact amount of money. But there came a point where we've been talking about it for a long time, and we just said, what are we doing? Are we going to do this thing full-time or not? And
Yep.
Universe aligned, things with his job, things with my job. It was just a perfect exit point for both of us, and here we are. So
yep. Yeah, so I've been having a lot of fun doing it. Currently at, I think, 7 or 8 clients, full-time, kind of on the roster with a pretty large, prospect or funnel currently. We're currently in the middle of what we call Cold Call Monday, which is basically we lock ourselves in a room and just cold call businesses. We set the target at 50 to 100. During Monday, and out of that we'll get somewhere between 1 and 4 opportunities. Just from doing this, we run quick audits against their social media presence, bring that to the phone conversation, and then offer some suggestions, kind of as the carrot or the value that we provide, and then do the ask where we want to set up a follow-up meeting when they're less busy to take a deeper dive into what they're doing, what they've done in the past, stuff like that. So
yeah, and like we mentioned before, for those of you on Instagram that we were talking about on YouTube, where we're at right now, we understand that when you have even 5, 10, 15 clients, you're still in a vulnerable state, and you need to build up your roster. So that's exactly why we're doing what we're doing today. Grinding, trying to get more and more clients, just being realistic about where we're at, not having our head in the clouds, and then all of a sudden a client drops out and we're screwed, basically. So super important. I mean, not only just for small businesses, but there's massive organizations that are completely vulnerable, where they have 50 to 45% of their revenue based off of one client. And yeah, it's nice, high fives when you land that client, but now what happens if you lose them? You're ground zero, you've lost half your business. What happens? So we understand that that's can happen early on, so we're grinding, trying to get more people, and just keep scaling this thing.
Yep. And that's kind of the biggest thing is every week we have targets. We're accountable to those targets. We're also realistic with the targets in terms of what makes sense, how much we can really add in terms of onboarding. It's always really time intensive when a new client signs up and you're kind of onboarding them. It's very high touch, time consuming exercise, and then as the life cycle of that client goes on, the amount of time you have to spend with them diminishes to a certain extent, or you kind of fall into a rhythm where you know what to expect, and you never know what that's going to look like until you start working with them for 2 to 4 weeks. Is kind of what we found, and at that point, bringing on more clients and more clients makes sense. And then we're kind of ground zero where we can add a couple at a time and have enough bandwidth between the two of us to handle that work. But we are considerate of the future where there's going to be a lot of work to do, and there's going to be a limit where we need to start evaluating, more third parties, more trusted, partners to fulfill certain stuff. But we're still a ways out from that.
Yep.
So yeah, just to kind of go over, why we're doing this live stream here on our Instagram and YouTube. We're just talking about building a business from zero. About 6 weeks ago, we both quit our jobs to do our agency, Vital Traffic Labs, full time, and just taking questions here of anybody who has questions about being an entrepreneur, what that hustle looks like, business ideas, marketing strategies, anything, client acquisition, real anything from sales to client acquisition through, delivering results for clients and stuff like that. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to pop up and we'll do our best to answer them.
Yeah. What's up, Jem, Nero?
Welcome.
See if anyone's in here.
So yeah, one question that we get, all the time is, how we're adding clients, how we found our niche, and the answer to that, from the niche question would just be, we, instead of focusing on a certain market, we really focused on a certain type of client, which is a small, medium business owner who maybe understands the value of social media, digital marketing, but isn't sure how to execute against it, or has maybe been doing that for their business or themselves, since they started their company, and now their company's grown to a certain point where it makes sense to outsource it. So that's kind of where we come in, taking what their existing efforts have looked like to the next level and really executing against that. So we do that for a number of different industries. We work with travel and hospitality, so on and so forth. We work with a couple, B2B organizations. We work with a few, fitness centers, stuff like that. So it's a good variety of sort of clients that we focus on. But as far as the client acquisition strategy, I'd say, the biggest and most effective way to add clients today, 100%, is to cold call. Basically, every single Monday, like we've been doing this morning so far, we started at about 9:30, is set a number of calls you're going to make that day.
Jamali's responding to you right now.
Yep. So
thanks for your question. So just so for people that aren't on the YouTube live stream, Jamal asked, what has worked better for obtaining more clients? Cold calls, email marketing, walk-ins, and DMs. What's essentially worked best for us?
Yeah.
I would say 100% cold calls.
Yep.
When we were doing this business as a side hustle, and we had a 9-to-5, email marketing was very important for us because we were not available during the 9-to-5 hours. So we definitely utilized emails as much as possible to just see if we could get any bites. And then once they did bite, follow up with them on our lunch break, call them after hours, before hours, and just move it along at that point. But, now that we have the time, calling between the hours of 9 to 5 is huge. I mean, just getting people on the phone, that's the fastest way you can get your yes or no answer. Are you interested? Yay, nay, move on.
Yeah. I would say, though, that one of our largest opportunities was generated during that time frame through an email. So I would definitely say don't sell yourself short of the value of email marketing. I would say if you have time when businesses are open, cold calling is going to be the fastest, most effective way. But if you find an email that's sitting there, or if you can guess their email, a lot of the time there's some standard nomenclature within the business, like david@vitaltrafficlabs.com is my email. Usually the business owner's first name at whatever company. If you're not getting callbacks and you really want to talk to them, that might be an effective way to get in front of them. But I would definitely say tip of the sword is cold calling. Yeah. If you have the luxury, like we now do, to be able to call all day, every day, I would say you should be doing that 100%. Like Derek said, we didn't have that luxury in the beginning. So it was a lot of emails. We had to get in front of people when they were open, and people are checking their business or their emails when they're open. So
Yeah, and just to piggyback off the question, when we're cold calling, typically we're Googling their business name, Googling their website, finding out if they're on Facebook, Instagram, and then just seeing if there's any holes in their game. If they have a low engagement rate, if their phone number's wrong, if there's a broken link, just finding one or two small things that you can pick out and mention on that first call to just say, hey, I'm an expert in this field. I did a quick audit, noticed X, Y, and Z is lacking on your page. More than happy to share with you some ideas and some tips to correct that, or get more business on social media if you're interested. I didn't know if growing in this space is something on your radar for 2017 or not, but if it is, let's talk. And then right away, either they're going to say, yeah, I'm interested, and the conversation grows, or no, I'm not. Boom. You didn't waste a whole lot of time. You just picked the phone and moved on.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. We'll basically start every conversation with a quick review of their digital facing media. A lot of the time we find that a lot of people we talk to, their Facebook engagement is below 2%, and there's a very clear reason for that these days. Facebook doesn't want people to get a lot of free exposure to even the audiences that they've gotten already. So in terms of kind of our tip of the sword strategy for ways to help our clients grow, we kind of start with Facebook from an advertising perspective, set up funnels. Basically we'll run a Facebook ad and then have some sort of desired result or action that we want them to take against it. So we just find that an audit of their Facebook seems to be kind of a hot button where we get a lot of results with that. So
yeah, and a lot of people are just posting and getting nowhere, or they have literally thousands of people liking their page and following their page, but they're not reaching any of them at all. Maybe 1%, 2%, 3%. I think the standard is about it. If you're around like 7, 8%, you're doing something right without doing any advertisement. If you're above that to 20, 30, 40, 50, that's where you really want to be. And getting people to engage on your page is huge too.
Yeah.
So those are the types of things we try and point out. And
and it's easy and cost effective to run a quick, $5, $10 promotion against your existing, opt-in or client or, like base, and encourage people to take some sort of action, share something. We try to post, especially on Instagram, most photos with some sort of a call to action where, like this, share this, engage with other people and bring them here with this content that we posted. And it's fun for them to, engage with their friends and say, hey, this is super funny. This is beautiful. This capture is amazing. This place looks great, so on and so forth. Our clients are seeing good feedback. They're seeing good interaction. But what's really cool is, we're getting really effective results for limited ad spend, which makes them happy as well. So
yeah. And for those of you just jumping in, we're taking questions right now from people that are either aspiring to be entrepreneurs, business owners. If you're not, whatever. That's kind of the market that we tailor to. We just have been running a digital marketing agency for the past 8 months. We've quit our full-time jobs, and we're doing this full-time, loving it, experiencing the hiccups, the growing pains of starting a startup from ground zero. So if you have any questions, just throw it in the chat, comment. More than happy to just share with you. We're not coming at this as experts, but just I think we have a valuable perspective that a lot of people in the market don't, that maybe have a great theory of how to run a business and are super successful, but they're not at the level where a lot of people are in those beginning stages. So we share a pretty interesting perspective in that regard.
Yeah, and if any of you are business owners yourself and are looking for tips around digital marketing, scaling your business, this isn't exclusive to entrepreneurship. If there's any questions we can ask about from a digital marketing perspective around ways to get better results through digital channels as a business owner, feel free to ask those as well. Happy to, make this interactive and answer any questions you guys might have. So,
yeah, thanks Jamal for asking a question there. I'm sure, the questions that you guys ask isn't specific to you. Other people are going to have the same issues or questions or concerns. So,
yeah,
thank you for that.
Yeah, no, a question we get fairly often too is, around email marketing for clients, and that's something that's probably the biggest piece of white space that we see in most businesses. Digital marketing strategy is an effective email marketing strategy. Email marketing can basically be its own digital marketing strategy, where it's basically people have opted into your business already. You send them to your page, and you can see through analytics that people are visiting you, but you're not capturing their information. So I'd say having a lead capture, some sort of magnet that entices them to sign up for your email list, and then having an effective email marketing strategy, even as a small digital marketing agency owner, would be a really good place to start.
Yeah, looks like we got a question here. Would you register your business first or do setup work first? I'm assuming he means like get your legal paperwork together, or just start trying to get clients. Is that how you're taking it?
Yeah, which is a funny question for us because we got our first client very quickly.
Yeah.
I think it was within 2 weeks of deciding we were going to, take our skill set into the digital marketing space full time.
We were still filing the paperwork when that all happened there.
So important to note, once you incorporate with your state, you go to the IRS website and you can get your employer ID number from them, and it's free. With the state of Minnesota, I think it was $140 to get our articles of incorporation as an LLC, articles of organization, as an LLC. And then you take that to the state. You're going to need that in order to get a business banking account.
Yeah.
So that could be a bottleneck for you if you basically sign clients before you are able to take invoices or payments, which would end up looking unprofessional. So I'd say as soon as you start, why not go ahead and do that paperwork? It's something that you can do off business hours. So during the times that you can't be calling customers or clients, cold calling, doing servicing work and account management, do that after hours.
Yeah.
And just get it done. It's really easy. We use Spark Business Checking through Capital One. We're not endorsed by them in any way. We get no compensation for endorsing them. I just really like them because they have a no minimum balance, no fee, and unlimited invoice platform that is really, really awesome as you're starting out, because most banks, especially in the business space, charge for all three of those. Typically, it's a minimum balance of like $7,000. Otherwise, it's a 10% fee every month. Invoicing typically is a tack-on service as well. It's really cool being able to send those invoices. It's really nice too because our clients have 3 options on how they can pay them: wire transfer, a paper check, or paying it through the third-party integration with Bill.com, which requires no effort from our part, but is a really nice portal, that they can sign into and pay.
Yeah, and it seems like maybe from the question that you're on the fence a little bit, like, maybe you're unsure about the business that you're going to start in general. It may be a good idea for you when you do register your business to do it as a generic name. That's something that you could eventually transfer to other different ventures that you're trying out. I'm not sure what your business is, but if you do something, more generic rather than a super specific business like ABC Holding Company or whatever your name is, Holdings, that'll definitely give you more options in the future if you decide to go into a different venture or try a different business. You don't have to keep filing for paperwork again. You still need to register your business with the state eventually, but that initial LLC that you're going to pay for, just do it as a generic company, and then you can use it across the board.
Awesome question, though, and not a ton of people, obviously on right now watching, so you kind of have us to yourselves right now. If you guys have any more questions, happy to to answer them. Hope it's been valuable so far. Yeah, you bet, man. Any more questions you have, feel free to fire them over. Otherwise, we're just gonna kind of keep talking about where things sit today and whatnot. So
yeah, and I said when we started this thing, I mean, this is our first time going live, and don't have a massive following, but if we can get a couple questions and provide some value to somebody, it's going to be worth it. And we already have. Looks like a couple of people have already asked questions, so that's awesome.
App or website? Are you saying should you create an app or a website in terms of the face of your business, or are you talking about a mobile app versus a web application? Can you kind of clarify what you're asking there? That'd be awesome.
For people on YouTube, we just got a question asking about the LLC, whether you should register, and then he just asked to do an app or a website, so we're just kind of clarifying that.
And welcome to the people that are just joining us. Just so you guys know, we're two agency owners. Quit our full-time jobs 6 weeks ago. Started the business in September of last year. Just talking about and answering questions around, what we've done in terms of where things sit today, client work, any questions you have about, setting up a business. There's a lot there, as you'll come to find out. So happy to make things easier for you in any way that we can. So feel free to shout them out.
And I'm going to butcher this name, but tries Megas. If you follow us on our YouTube channel too, you can see a lot more. We go a lot deeper. Instagram, we go a lot wider with content, but YouTube, it's pretty raw of what our day-to-day basis is. I mean, right now we're posted up in the office making cold calls, and typically what we do, we've got a camera over here documenting the whole thing, our live stream as well, and that'll give you some good insights of just what it takes, what we do, and so if you want to pop on there and follow us, that'd be awesome. It's 2GuysBuildaBiz on YouTube. That'd be much appreciated.
Looks like we got a question from Jamal here. Do you feel as working a 9-to-5 was harder to focus on the business? So I'm assuming, you're asking if doing this, before or after, during hours, made it difficult to focus on the business.
100%. I mean, the 9-to-5 takes, you work the 9-to-5 and you get home, most people just crack a beer, eat some food, watch a Netflix show, and go to bed. And to push yourself and get past all the things that happen during the day and focus on your business from 7 to 2 in the morning is, definitely difficult, but it just depends on what your job is. Sometimes you can get lucky and be in a space where you're working a 9-to-5, but it's still sharpening your skill set and translates to your business. I mean, both David and I were doing sales, so yeah, we were working a 9-to-5, and it was taking away from our day-to-day operations, but at the same time, it was also not a complete waste of time. We weren't just stamping widgets. We were building our skill set, and that's going to help us in our business as well. So mine was a lot closer. I was working with the marketing firm, so it definitely helped working that job. And both of us will tell you that working the 9-to-5, we needed it. It crafted our skill set. It made us understand how business works, how to operate, how to sell, how to deal with clients, manage them. Those are all things that we are blessed and have learned from the 9-to-5 corporate America. But yeah, 100%. It was harder to focus on the business, yes, but that's just what comes with the territory. I mean, if we wanted to make it happen, so we were willing to put in the work, and ultimately it's making sacrifices is what it comes down to. Sacrificing your leisure time, sacrificing hanging out with friends or parties, whatever, just focusing. I mean, your focus is up to you, where you want to focus your time. So
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, really awesome question.
yeah, thank you for
that's and to Derek's point, you'll kind of realize when it's time to maybe make the jump. But it's, one of our mentors, Gary Vaynerchuk, basically said that the best way to go about entrepreneurship is just dip your toe in the water as a side business and see where it goes. We knew from the get-go pretty quickly that it was a viable option for us. We onboarded clients pretty much right away. We were adding them very quickly, and we saw the opportunity if we jumped and did it full time to, take it full time, which really helped with the willpower in terms of, kind of starting the second job at, 7 o'clock or whenever we got home. I was on the road a lot for my job. I was traveling 2 or 3 weeks a month, which was nice to a certain extent because sometimes I got some time alone during the day in my hotel room when I could do client management, which was great. But at the same time, there was zero stability in terms of when I'd actually be available. Would my flight be delayed? Could I set a meeting with my side business? Would they understand? So that made it tough in that regard. But I'd definitely say that pushing through that is where you're going to be successful. And a lot of people are going to say shit like that. But we are so freaking thankful for the hours that we put in after work to make this a reality, and that's literally what it may take.
Yeah.
The faster you can do it, the more focused you can do it, the better. There's going to become a point where it's just too much, and maybe you have too many clients. Maybe you're just getting burnt out. You're really good at building a business or an agency or what have you. But your 9 to 5 is just taking too much effort out of your day, and you got to make a call. That's kind of where we got to. Things were changing in our jobs. It was basically a situation where we were both, really stressed out, really unhappy. We're like, are we going to go interview for other positions doing what we're doing now, or are we going to take this ship full time and see what we can do with it? And the decision that we made was that we're young, we have high energy, we see the potential for the business. Are we going to do this together? And without hesitation, we both decided just to go ahead and do it. We set a quit date. We left our jobs. Haven't looked back. Best month of my life. Having so much fun. Clients are beyond happy. It's just been an absolute rocket ship of a month.
Yeah, we've renewed clients now.
Yeah.
So not only getting them to sign up, but getting them to sign up again for longer term. So that's super awesome. Getting client testimonials. But yeah, back to his question, it's hard, but that's what's going to separate you from everybody else.
Yeah.
Like everyone that we've talked to is like, oh, I wish I could do that. I wish I had something like that. I'd always wanted to do that. And that's how I felt too. Every time I heard about somebody running a business, I was like, damn, I would love to have that. I just wish I knew what to do or what to do or how to do it. Or that's what's going to happen when you put in the work and you do all those uncomfortable things that no one's willing to do. That's where the reward is.
Yeah.
And then you'll be walking out of your 9 to 5 job and everyone will be like, damn, Jamal killed it. I wish, I had that. But not everybody's wishes, they'd skip their Netflix episode and, even though they're completely fried from the day, grind out some calls or grind out some emails or put together a proposal or, get up an hour and a half early to do a call.
There were nights when we had proposals to put together that we'd just gotten home at 7:30 or whatever, and the last thing you want to do is go and it's it's a proposal, it has the potential to make you money. It's that level of effort, that sending 100 emails on a Tuesday night when you've been cold calling for your day job all day is when you either do, you don't. It's up to you, but it's definitely doable. We did it. 100% doable. Tons of people are starting businesses on the side, either taking it full time or keeping it as a side hustle that gets them additional cash. There's no right or wrong. It's just going to kind of be up to you and how much you want to focus on it. We have another awesome question here. I think it's really relevant to Derek and I. How do you solve different opinions between each other? I'm assuming that you mean differences in opinion as business owners between ourselves.
Yep.
You want to start with this one, or do you want me to take it?
Yeah, sure. The first thing that popped to mind is it's not difficult for us. And I think that probably is due to the fact that we have very similar skill sets and then also very different skill sets. So we both have a clear understanding of what we're good at. I know what I'm good at. David knows what he's good at. And we both, vice versa, that's open and transparent. So there's a lot of, creative and some technical work that I do that I may have a strong opinion on. And, David's not going to fight me on it because he knows that he can trust me in that space. And, when it comes to, timelines, client management, business deals, contracts, writing, legalities, things like that, I'm not going to fight David on something that he's brought to the table because I know that that's in his wheelhouse. So, and we're both passionate about what we do, but I don't think we've ever had a big fight over anything. We both have a high emotional intelligence, EQ, and when there's an issue, we talk about it.
Yeah.
It's not, we don't bury it and let it build up. If he has an opinion on something, it's expressed. If I have an opinion on something, it's expressed. When we have different opinions, we sit down and go, okay, well, I really feel that this would be beneficial to our business because of X, Y, and Z. And then maybe I don't see it. That happens all the time. Like, he'll bring up something and I'm initially like, meh, that doesn't sound like a good idea. But I listen to what he has to say and I hear it out. And then I go, okay, yeah, I never thought of it that way. That makes sense. We should do that.
Yeah.
And it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
In my opinion. If you don't communicate, that's where issues happen. And I feel like we communicate well and get along well. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that it's a collaboration effort, right? Where play to each other's strengths, and we kind of stay in our own lanes. Derek owns the creative kind of side of things, the technical execution side of things, and I fulfill services that we provide as well. But I don't try and voice my opinion on something that is really his forte. I can make recommendations. If I think that we missed the mark, we can discuss it openly and update what the work that either of us has done, whether it be a blog post that I wrote, an email campaign that I put together, a photo I edited that isn't a fit for the cohesive look for a brand that he's created, stuff like that. I think it's just playing to each other's strengths. And I also think that in terms of the background that both of us have, we both come from a sales background, and I think that's important because a lot of, from what I've seen with friends or past colleagues who have started businesses, it's people who don't understand the sales or the lifeblood piece and reacting quickly, not adapting to change, not being fluid, not communicating about things can be a bit of a bottleneck or a roadblock.
Yeah, you just gotta trust the person you're working with too. So we've known each other for a very long time, and as you guys know, you've got friends that 100% are great friends, but you would never do business with them or never live with them, or you know what I mean? Like there's friends that you have that are good buddies, but you just know, like, from a professional and like a business standpoint, you would never work with them. But David's always been someone where as kids we were creating music together, so there was a very collaborative dynamic to our relationship early on, and as we evolved into the business world, that collaboration stayed. So find a partner that you can trust. If I wouldn't want to be going this alone, to be perfectly honest. So I'm very glad that I have David working on this with me. And if you are thinking about working with a partner, find someone A, that you can trust, and B, someone that complements your skill set. So it doesn't make sense for me to partner with someone who's a clone of me, because that's not even gonna, it's just not gonna work. I mean, it could work, but ultimately we're gonna be a lot stronger if you can partner with someone that's good at the things that you're bad at, and then you're good at the things that they're bad at, and it just works a lot better.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
Good question though, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'd also say don't think that you need a partner to do this.
Yeah.
We see through Facebook groups, so on and so forth, a lot of people talking about kind of jumping the gun on bringing partners in, and then they're like, "Oh, I just realized none of these people provide any value. What do I do?" And it's like, well, now you incorporate an LLC with these people, and you're listed as partners, and
it's much better to have no partner than a bad partner.
Yes, 100%, 150,000%. I mean, that's really, really important. You're going into business with this person, man. I mean, I would definitely be really considerate about making that decision. It's probably one of the biggest ones you'll ever make if you want to take this to where you think it's going to go. But that isn't to say that you don't have that person, sitting to the right of you watching this live stream with us right now. So we have no opinion there. I would just say, just keep that stuff in mind. We don't know, kind of where things sit with you, and we don't want to tell you don't get a partner. We don't want to tell you have to have a partner. We're just kind of talking about how things have worked for us.
Yeah.
So it's been great so far. So
sweet. Yeah, on Instagram, we just said you had to cut someone out that didn't fit, and that's what you got to do. I mean, I know we quote Gary Vee all the time because he's kind of our online mentor, but it's not about the hiring, it's about the firing. So
yeah,
you want to go out and trust people and work with people and have experiences and meet new people, but yeah, if they're cancer to your business and your life, just gone. Cut them out, move on.
It's better for the both of you.
Yeah,
they might be salty about it for a while and might sting, but who's to say that they can't go and start their own business and do that whole thing? And I know we've mentioned this name a few times, Gary V, or Gary Vaynerchuk. If you guys that are watching don't know who he is, he delivers an insane amount of free content, and just from what we've learned from him, and how his podcast specifically and YouTube channel has helped us stay focused. Through Jamal's question earlier about, is it harder to focus on the business when you're working a 9 to 5? When we hit those mental roadblocks, I'd pop on a Gary Vee podcast and just let him get you pumped up and talk about different stuff and get you excited about it again. So definitely recommend you guys check him out. I think he just did episode like 258, and he started it like 18 months ago or something.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a mega millionaire ad agency guy. He started an e-commerce company called Wine Library that sold for like $500 million, and now he's got a $700 million digital marketing firm he started 6 years ago. So he knows what he's talking about in that space, for sure.
60 million, but yeah, pretty close.
So,
yep.
But yeah, you guys have us for another 11 minutes here. So any questions, feel free to pop them on.
Yeah, this is a cool format. I mean, it's new to us for sure, but it's nice to get some feedback from you guys in real time like this. 100%.
Yeah, very cool.
Another question here: do you need startup capital? I would say it 100% depends on what your business is. So, a business like ours, a client service business, you really don't. Very minimal startup costs. I think between like educational programs and we used equipment that we already owned, so that wasn't a startup cost. I mean,
Yeah. But we could have easily done it without that equipment if we just didn't offer that equipment as a service.
Yeah, I mean, you can do so much from your phone nowadays. So yeah, so we didn't need any startup capital or a big savings account or anything. Really, our savings has just gone as like a blanket to, cover our butts in case, we lose a couple clients while we're making this transition from 9 to 5 to full time. If you're starting like a application or running a website or something like that where you're trying to acquire users, I mean, that's a whole nother game where you may need capital and investors. You're starting a restaurant, you need a loan. Like with the internet, there's so many businesses that you can start and get moving and be profitable without taking any of that risk on, and just doing rather than thinking about it and strategizing. You can just go out and do so much from your phone and a laptop. It's insane. So we didn't need any capital to start this. We maybe invested $1,000, but we didn't even need to do that. I mean, we could have we could have done this all just anything you want to learn, you can figure it out on YouTube. But yeah, it just depends on your business. So
yeah, and I think that when we started, aside from initial capital investment of like $1,000 on some training and operations stuff, our cash burn rate every month was below $50. So very quickly we signed a client at $2,500 a month, which meant that we had just paid for all of our run costs in 2 weeks for the next 2 years, right? So the whole idea was to keep our burn rate on any cash that we brought in as low as we possibly could, and to this day it still is extremely low. We've invested and reinvested in some depreciable goods. Bought a drone as an example. We bought some technical stuff,
upgraded camera equipment, things like that, computers, but not 100% necessary, but things that we felt were important when
and
stepping
that would make
up to
us
the
more
table.
effective too. We could have done the job with what we had. We can do it faster with what we have now. So there was a cost justification for that, but easily, on a month-to-month basis, our cost to this day is below $150, and we've reinvested in some solutions and SaaS equipment or apps, that have helped kind of make things easier from an execution and account management piece. But we have a straight conversation about it. We think about it. We say, hey, this provides this value. Then we either test it out after we decide yay or nay, or we don't. I'd say too, we look at things that we are currently spending money on every time that we make one of those decisions. Like we used a solution that would basically scrape websites for emails. It was like $50 a month or something. And when we wanted to purchase a app that was like $75 a month, we're like, what are we getting the most value out of? Are there any solutions that we're currently paying for that we're not getting any value out of? And this is one of them. So we cut that out, and we're like, okay, we just save $50 a month, or we're going to spend $75 a month, but now we're not spending $125 a month unless it's absolutely mission critical and providing value. If we've been getting a ton of results from that solution, we may have kept it, but the justification just wasn't there. So
yeah, we've been super frugal and smart about what we're investing in. So like that, we're going to cut it out because it's something that we're not using a ton, and we're going to reinvest in some platforms, some Adobe products that are going to help us, provide more value to our clients.
Yep.
So yeah, it looks like a couple more people joined. We're kind of getting towards the end of our live stream here. If you have any last minute questions, let us know. We've been taking entrepreneurial business startup type questions. We've both left our 9-to-5 jobs and are working full time running a digital marketing agency. So if there's any last minute stuff, we're happy to answer that quick. Thanks, Jamal. He asked a lot of good questions.
Yeah, he
Trism.
also asked us to check our Instagram DMs, which we will do when
Yeah.
we drop off this live stream. Unfortunately, we aren't sure. If you guys on YouTube are watching us, we're also doing this on our YouTube channel. That's at the number 2GuysBuildaBiz, just like our YouTube channel, vice versa. Our friends on Instagram who've been tuning in, thanks for joining us. You can use the link in our Instagram profile to pop over to our YouTube channel and see the full length content of everything that we've been posting on Instagram in the short form. So basically, the point behind this live stream and the vision of sorts behind our channel, even though it's still very much fluid, is just to basically document the day-to-day process that we've gone through from the 1st of June when it was go time, full time with the business that we started back end of last year, and just everything that we do from cold call Mondays to driving to client meetings, things that we talk about during those conversations, goals for those meetings, the results of those meetings, fulfilling projects for clients, doing site visits for clients. We really just want to provide visibility to what this looks like in a real sense. I think that there's a lot of people out there that are pushing the laptop lifestyle or the Corvette lifestyle, the Lambo lifestyle, and that might be real for them. But for us right now, and for a lot of people who might be tuning in, it's not. They just want to start a business and they want to have a different life than they do today. A more fulfilling life through the beauty of starting your own business. So any way we can, we're just trying to give back and provide some value around that.
Yep.
So
cool. We're going to wrap it up. Thank you guys for your questions, and follow us, subscribe, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.